Here we go. So I did have you a lot of time in my mind
Mhm.
because you are those few filmmakers around in the community that what was we actually with me from the beginning. So I'm so glad to have you here because I'm pretty sure we're gonna tell a lot of stories,
Oh my
not only
god.
from here, but also from Puerto Rico. So it's crazy that now we're both here, right?
Yes.
So, hi everybody. This is the Filmmakers Room podcast. I'm so glad you're listening to us. And today I have a special guest. His name is Rolando Sierra.
Hello.
He's actually more than anything, he's my mentor because he's been around teaching me how to use technology for decades now, literally. But he's a lot of things. He's a filmmaker. He's a singer. He's a musician. He's a sound designer. He's owner of the Arbone Studios. He
Mhm.
has two master's degree, bachelor's degree. So he's basically a little bit of everything. And today he's here with us to share knowledge. So thank you very much, Rolando, for being here.
Thank you for having me.
Remember, if you like this type of content, to share, comment, like, subscribe, all of that stuff, to continue the guests coming. So thank you so much if you're liking this type of content. Or let us know what you want us to talk about, or
Mhm.
let us know, okay? And remember, I'm fairly new to the English, so bear with me, okay? Over time, I'm going to keep getting better.
With us.
At the beginning, I did a few solo videos and I said to myself, you know what? I'm not ready yet. I still have to, perfect my English, but it's going there. So, anyways, I know you're a specialist in sound design music, and I want to talk about that. I know you do a lot of other things, right? But it's a niche topic that I want to cover first,
Okay.
especially here in Florida, right? I want to and am I did I miss something that I didn't cover about you? Are you okay?
No, we are good.
Okay, we're good. So something that I happened to this is nothing new for anybody, right? But when I got here to Florida, I want to specify we're here now in Florida, so I
Mhm.
want to touch that topic. I went already to a few film festivals, right?
Okay.
And obviously I saw and I because it's my passion. I always go for the what is the community doing? What is the amateur filmmakers or the student filmmakers or whatever filmmakers around the community are doing? And I actually got the opportunity to be a jury in the past 48-hour film project in Orlando. I'm so thankful for Christina. She gave me the opportunity. I saw like 35 short films, okay, on the
35
big
subjects.
screen, on the
Wow.
big screen.
Mhm.
And it for no surprise to me, I will say like half of them were lacking of sound design.
Mhm.
And you and me know this is a common mistake in newbies, let's say,
Mhm.
and students, filmmakers, sometimes even in experts.
Mhm.
And I want to fix that problem. I want to help that, right? And this is for everybody. This is not only for Florida, but I'm bringing this up. So how can we fix that problem? Let me know. Let me know your experience working with student filmmakers. What have you seen? Why do we always get wrong the sound? How does this affect us? How can we fix it?
Oh, that's a great question. So I think that the first step to fix it is to have an understanding of how important sound in filmmaking is from the beginning. And if you are conscious about the importance of the sound, you will produce your movie moving towards since the beginning to do a great sound and to cooperate and actually to have someone to give you some advice before starting. If you include that in your plan, you will have great sound. So first of all, knowledge about that, the
Knowing
importance
it,
of
knowing
knowing
it.
it. And when you are in the production, one of the things that I always tell people, please, 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 room tone, room tone. Room tone is something that, sorry that I'm going very specific in something, but it's something that it really, I need to take it off the chest because many, many times when you are working cleaning audio, room tone can save the film. Why? Because you sometimes the recording is noisy. So what happened with room tone is that here's your sound, right? I'm gonna be very technical. You have your sound with dialogue and all the room tone normal. But if you record 30 minutes, 30 minutes, 30 seconds to 1 minute of room tone, then I can take that take from the room tone, put it upside down, that wave, and I can clean completely the dialogue on that of that room. Let's say there is a air conditioner noise that is very common. Anything electrical noise from something, anything. You have that electrical noise, air conditioner. I turn upside down the sound wave, and I can play with that to eliminate without using any other tools, just by flipping the wave upside down, and that creates a way to clean out the noise.
I love that you went very fast for the technical route because this is for the main purpose of this is for my students,
Mhm.
and I wanted to get technical. Now, the first thing that you threw is actually more philosophically, is knowing it, right?
Yes.
And knowing it is actually, I will say, a bigger barrier than the technical, because the technical, you learn it and you embrace it.
Yes.
But learning it or knowing it or accepting it, I think is a huge, bigger barrier. Because how many times have we told students or amateurs or even experts, sound is the most important thing? I mean, even George Lucas, you can go for the biggest filmmakers. It's so important and it's frustrating, right? So, why do you think this happens? Why do you think people don't know it or they refuse to learn it? Why do you think is that happens?
I don't think they refuse to learn it. I think that is your journey as when you're learning filmmaking. Some of you guys started like a photographer in photography, and then or some people, it doesn't matter. But when you start learning, you're hyper focused in the looks. Everything for us is the looks. We want the bokeh, we want the lenses, and then we go into, oh, we need, now I need a good story, or it doesn't matter. Everybody starts in a different point, and we start learning, but we focus so much in what we see, the story that we want to tell, but we forget the sound is 50% of the experience. So you have the visual and you have your ears, and if you don't satisfy the ears, you are missing half of the experience.
I will say sometimes even more because the 4D effect. Let me explain. Like, not only do you listen to the information, you also feel it with the
Yes.
sound. So I will say it's like 50.5% because there's another element, not only that the sound, only you hear it, you also feel it. Can you explain that? Because obviously you're a better expert on this.
Yes. So the way the humans are designed, by the way, I'm a nurse too, so I have some.
How could I forget? See, I forget something. I
It's
told you.
okay.
I told
It's
you.
okay. Everything is there. So just to summarize,
He's also a health specialist. Come on.
I'm a sound engineer, I'm a filmmaker, and nurse. So everything comes together. That's the beauty of college, because everything, all the knowledge comes together. So what happens is that the human is designed to hear certain frequencies more than others. For example, and that's because that's survival. So when you hear a loud sound, just imagine that you are a man in the prehistorical, and you hear boom, boom, big, loud, low noises. That means run. That means you need to run or you're gonna die, because that's a dinosaur, that's an elephant, whatever it is. And when you hear frequencies in between the 8,000, I'm sorry, I need to go very technical,
Go,
in
please.
the 8,000 hertz, that's from 5,000 to 8,000 hertz is the crying of a baby. So we are designed to hear those sounds like, okay, my baby's crying, I need to save it. So, for example, very, very important, the horror, um, that everybody loves to do horror movies when we're starting, because it's something that we want to experiment. So low noises or sounds that are below our hearing, you may not hear it, but you're gonna feel in your bones. The military experimented with this. There's historical evidence of the military experimented with low big speakers, just to make unsettle the enemy, and they will feel fear, and they don't understand why, because they are feeling in their bones Or if you cannot hear high frequencies, I'm talking about the low. Now let's talk about the high. So sometimes when you have a nice setup, you can hear that kind of really high sound. It's gonna give you, you're gonna feel it in your nose, you're gonna feel it in your bones, because you don't listen only with your ears, you're listening with your whole body through your bones. Actually, there is a technique to determine if a bone is broken, and is if you put a stethoscope in between a fracture, and if you don't hear the bone transducing that sound, that means the bone is broken.
Wow.
So you see how important your bones are to conduct sound. There is a test that you can test your hearing through bone conduction, and there are some kind of new headphones. They are not actually headphones, they are bone traducing that sound, transmitting that sound through the bone.
So if it's physical also. So
it is physical.
So if we go very in theory, if you're not able to listen, if you're deaf, I believe it's called, right? If you're somebody's deaf, it can it doesn't matter. It will also impact the way he's feeling the movie.
Yes.
See, that's how important it is, and we have to emphasize to students that this is the way to go. When you go for a story, the element of feeling is not in the visual part. I mean, physically, it's not in the visual. It's actually in the sound part. So it's in a bigger experience, and you really have to use it for your advantage.
Mm-hmm.
And I know it's hard to break that, because you have to accept the knowledge that when you go into for a shoot, you don't only have to be aware of being behind the camera, you also are behind of the mic. And this is not a I'm gonna fix it in post-production thing. you have to take good audio from the shoot. Can you explain that, of having good audio on the shooting spot?
Well, you need to have the proper microphone. I'm not an expert on the field of field recording, but I have enough understanding of it. So you need to know your gear. Stop complaining about what you have and understand what you have.
That's somebody's book. I don't know. Like, Stop Complaining Shoot.
Stop complaining about what you have. Stop complaining and shoot. There you go. Yeah. So understand how your microphone works. Because some microphones, like, let's talk about this one. This microphone, the first question that I asked Andrew here was, where is this microphone picking up
That's
the
true.
sound?
That's true.
That was the first question.
That was the first
because
question.
I don't want to be talking to the side if he's speaking the sound from here. So that happens a lot in a shooting situation. If the person that is helping you, because many times we are working with people that is not trained professionally. So sometimes it's your little brother or or your friend that is helping you with it.
Yes.
So most of these microphones, you need to understand what is the pickup distance, what is the pattern that is using, and if you don't know about this, you should learn about the different patterns microphones are picking up the sound. There's the cardioid, super cardioid. I'm not gonna enter on all that stuff, but understand your equipment, and also you need to practice the craft of picking up the feet on the field. And there's several techniques. There are books for that. It's very important, the coordination.
Mention one of the books.
The books is the Sound Effect Bible, I think it is.
That's like the main Bible one.
It's called the Sound Effect Bible.
I think, curious enough, I think last time I think I heard that from you.
Yes, I met the guy.
You met the guy,
yes.
Right? That's crazy. Yes. So we know the guy.
Yeah,
we know who wrote the Bible.
Yes. It's the Sound Effect Bible. It's, I forget I'm really bad with names.
No, that's okay.
We can put it here.
This is a super shadow.
Yes.
The Sound Effect Bible, I think is it's literally the Bible on sound. Yes. So if you want to take it really seriously, you gotta go for it. And I think he wrote too. I read both.
He wrote too,
and he actually showed me a lot of stuff, because you can see he's a teacher. He's really passionate about what he's writing.
Yes. He was very active. I will need to. I don't want to mess up his name, but speak I forgot.
Yeah, and he was very casual on sound. Like when he started writing that he was starting out.
Mhm.
and he slowly began to learn and perfect
Mhm.
the craft. And I
Yes.
think that's the magic of it. Like if you are starting out, you can master the craft of sound.
Mhm.
And it happened to me. I think it's one of the stages of every filmmaker, because
Mhm.
if you don't want, okay, so once upon a time I did a short film, right? And the first critic you will I promise you, you will hear this,
Yes.
unless you came from a sound background, unless the
Mhm.
first critic you will have is somebody telling you, "Oh, your movie looked nice, the story is that, but I didn't quite understand it because I didn't hear it."
Ooh.
Oh
Oh
man, that
no.
is horrible. And that feeling is so frustrating that I talk to myself, say, you know what, this will never happen to me again. And I learned the lesson really fast, because the first thing that I did, I said, okay, I'm gonna step my game. And it's very curious because when I started out, I said, okay, at the time I didn't have even a camera or anything. So I said to myself, okay, I don't have a camera or anything. The first thing I'm gonna buy is a sound recorder. And I still have it. I'm gonna show it.
Nice.
Yeah, I'm gonna show it to you later. I still have
Nice.
it. So it's a small recorder. And I remember that I started playing with my voice, playing acting different characters and
Mhm.
recording it. So I knew that sound was the most powerful storytelling tool, because
Mhm.
you could still tell the story.
Yes.
And I said to myself, okay, this is gonna be one of my main focus from now on. And I remember that I always try to close the mic as close as possible to the mouth,
Yes.
and that worked. Just
Yes.
closing the mic to the mouth of whoever's talking solves the
Yes.
problem. How crazy that is! So if you're a student, just close the mic. Proximity.
It's called the proximity effect.
Yeah, just close
It's
the mic.
yes.
You can talk.
Yes.
You want to talk about the proximity effect?
It's very simple. So the closer you are, you're gonna sound with lower. You're
Yeah,
gonna
yeah,
sound,
yeah.
you're gonna sound, and the further is, and it happens. And you need to understand something. It, light and sound, they behave exactly the same.
Yeah.
They behave. So you know that when you have a lining and you separate it, there is a this inverse square law.
Yeah,
Oh my God, I remember that.
yeah, the
Thank
inverse
you.
is square log.
So the
Yeah,
same happens with sound. With you. So the further you are from the microphone, that the more
yeah,
you're gonna lose. You're gonna lose the low, and if you're not gonna sound lower, then you approach it. And in the position, if you direct the microphone to the chest, you're gonna
yeah,
have different sound, nasal sounds, airy sound, all that kind of stuff.
yeah. The inverse square law is that once you use an energy, it's gonna spread. I don't know. It's every 3 to 5 feet, I guess. It will spread, and
Hmm.
you will lose the amount of energy. So the distance, it will lose energy, and obviously, it will mix also with other noises around in the atmosphere. So
Correct.
now you also don't want to go the other way around, right? If you're sound in movies have to hear like a really dynamic. It
Hmm.
can also hear for like a radio, like we're talking right now.
Hmm.
So also don't go for like somebody's talking in your ear in a
Hmm.
movie, because in real life, nobody's talking directly to your ear. We have space,
Yes.
so it's like you gotta like dance with it. Okay.
Yes. So sound should match the image. For example, if you have a wide shot or extreme wide shot and your character is screaming, you should not hear Anna. You should hear Anna very
Yeah,
very
yeah.
far away. So it's just a little bit of logic. So the distance,
Common sense,
common
exactly.
sense,
Yeah.
it should match because you want to create that immersion in your film.
Yeah, and also even when you take it to post production, you kind of try to match that real
Hmm.
life,
Hmm.
because obviously it's not gonna be perfect. And also, let's go to post production. You also sometimes amplify the storytelling elements that you think, yeah, they're maybe not real life, but that enhances the story. So it's a weird dance. You gotta be like mixed about it. For example, a bullet. In post production, you're gonna make it over the top, or a sword. Like you're gonna make that sword sound, and that's where sound effects comes, right? Foley effects. So you have to. I'm gonna call it. It's like, and I think I read this somewhere. Like movies sounds like movies.
Correct.
So something that you need to embrace is just listening to a lot of movies and just understand how movies are heard.
Yes. So In movies, what we are going for is hyper realistic sounds. So when you record a sound in live, in real life, for example, a gun is gonna sound like a firecracker. It's like plak, plak, sounds like that. But you don't want that. You probably want a great explosion, boom. It depends of the genre of the movie, what kind of movie you're doing. Because if you're doing drama, you may go for the hyper realistic, or you want to go, or you may go for the realistic sound of it. Like this movie that is called Civil War, that everything was recorded very realistic, so it will create more tension because we are so used to the hyper realistic sounds. So the director in this occasion went to the other side and said, "No, we're gonna create sounds that are more realistic."
And it did the job. Oh my
He did
god.
the job.
Yeah.
So I went to the movies and I watched it like full
Yeah.
sound, and
Yeah.
it was so realistic with so low compression that my ears were. I was in pain at some point, and I think it's a good critic. What I'm trying to say, because it really make me feel tense. Not like I was enjoying that gunshot. It was like this is not what I expected, because there was a low compression on the sound. If
Yes,
you
yes. And obviously is what is going to be the outcome of this project. You also have to kind of measure the standards of whatever you're trying to do. Because obviously, for example, this is a casual podcast. There's not like a super threshold on what we're trying to do. But if you're going to like the big screen, if you're going to make a like a storytelling movie, then you have to really open the game up in the sound department. And that means having a good dialogue. Worst case scenario, let's say you didn't make the cut having good audio. Well, then yes, you have to fix it in post. You have to do
Mhm.
ADR, right?
ADR.
It works out. It's a very common technique used for replacing voices that were not done in the set,
Yes.
but you're doing it like in a sound proof set in post production
Mm-hmm.
to have a clean audio.
Yes.
But even then, we still try to imitate whatever happened in the set, because if not, it will look like funny or overproduced.
Yes. And my understanding is, and you do your own research, is that 80% of the dialogue on the movies, on the big movies, are ADR. 80 to ninety
Yeah, yeah,
percent
yeah.
because they don't want to risk it. They want that dialogue that is important to be there.
Now I have a question for
Mhm.
you.
Yes.
Actually, this is something that I don't know,
Uh-huh. Go
and
ahead.
it's a question that have been killing me forever. And trust me, I'm more of a cowboy filmmaker. You know, I'm a lone ranger, so I have maybe not that knowledge in like in the main industry, like how do they do it. So I have a question, a curiosity.
Mhm.
So being that the ADR has been done 80% in post production, do we still go for a really extreme clean audio in set, and why?
Well, it depends on what you want to achieve. If you want to capture that acting right there, this is me. I would love to capture the voice of that. If you do a really good setup, you can capture the audio of your film during the film production, because what's gonna happen, I am not a big fan of the ADR, because remember, it's not gonna be the same room, it's not gonna be the same room tone. And sometimes when you record ADR, if the actor is not used to do the ADR, it may sound a little bit weird and kind of forced, and they need to lip sync everything. So we are talking of hours maybe of post production of ADR. So ADR should be used only when something that was intended to be recorded during the production was not able you could not achieve it because a problem. But it shouldn't be but they got so good at it that they are doing it because you get the clean audio. But you don't have to do that, because now we have AI tools that can clean the audio as well. But that comes with advantages and disadvantages too.
Yeah, here's the deal. Now, no matter if you have the means to post production or
Uh-huh.
not, you still go for a really good, clean onset audio.
You want a good clean audio
Because
from the beginning.
obviously students say, but why is it that I haven't been able to achieve good audio? And it's because it's difficult. It's
It
because
is.
it brings up another more delicate element to the shooting process. Because in camera, yes, you can have a blooper or whatever, but sound, to get clean sound, is actually very difficult. It's very
Yes,
difficult
it is.
because the world is super noisy. Now, so you have to kind of try to do your best. But now help me with this. This is maybe another, I know the answer to this one, but I want to feel secure with you.
Okay.
You don't have to go for the cleanest on-set audio. Actually, if it's film,
Mhm.
this is different. Right now we do have one clean audio.
Yes.
But if it's film, if it's storytelling, you kind of want noise like in the real world, right? You want the space in the air.
Yes, because the real world is noisy. That's the reason so many people can't sleep unless they have a noise machine. Because when we are in when we were, in the belly of your you were in the belly of your mom, you're listening to the heartbeat. So your world, you are used to noise. We are used to noise. Anyways, going back, I digress.
No, but that's very powerful.
It is. You are listening to the heartbeat. You're listening to the movement, the guts. Everything. So you are used. We are used to noise.
We even listen for our interiors, our own heart.
Yes. So that's why there is some kind. I digress again. That's why there is a torture that is called when they cover your ears so you don't hear anything. So, anyways, so I forgot the question.
No, that you do one noise. It sounds.
You
It
want
sounds.
noise. I remember now.
Yeah.
So you want noise because and completely clean audio is not realistic, and you have something that is called production sound effects. So those microphones, depending on what kind of microphone you're using, are gonna be picking up doors, some of the foley, and if you place the microphone correctly, you're gonna save a lot of time. One of the productions that save a lot of times I hear was Breaking Bad. Yeah, probably everybody knows Breaking Bad, and they used to record a lot in the set, so they save time for Foley and post production. So you want that. You want production sound effects, and you're gonna get that in your dialogue.
And to close the circle
Mhm.
with this topic, it came something to my mind very important because maybe somebody, a student, is hearing at us and he say, "Well, I don't got the means or whatever." I think you don't need to be like a super hardcore sound producer to get this right.
Mhm.
First of all, you need the dialogue right. That's it. You get to need you need the dialogue right. And if you do it correct in set, you will have a cleaner post production process. Obviously, there's three ramifications: the dialogue, then we go for the room tone. So you need the room tone. That is, I think, one of the biggest advice you has given here because that solves many of the process in editing and sound
Yes.
editing. You need ambient sound, right?
Yes.
And I guess the last one is the sound effects, right?
Yes.
Yeah, you need the sound effects. That is what Rolando is talking about. All the combinations of these three, you can nail them. You don't have to be a crazy post production producer. At, at, if you actually, if you listen into it by common sense, now I want to feel also secure. Using common sense, your own inner ear.
Mhm.
Okay, this is sounding right. Well, you're doing it right.
Yes. So let me
Yeah,
let me
please.
introduce a comment
Yeah.
here to see if I can explain sound in a way, in an image way. So when you think about sound, one time I learned something from Andrew, and he talked to me about composition. Right? He told me when you do a picture, a photography, you need to think it's like a painting. I'm gonna use the same example, but for sound.
Great.
When you think about sound for your movie, you're gonna think it's a painting. So the ambience is the background. So have you seen those videos from Bob Ross? He starts with the background. That's your ambiences. And then right in the middle, you have dialogue. You
Wow.
have dialogue. That's the middle. But when you are building, so the most important is dialogue. But the back of the painting is your ambiences. That's your wala. The what is the people talking, the car, all the traffic. I'm doing the sound effects here with my mouth. And then you have also there your Foley sounds. That's your everything that your actor is touching, everything that they're interacting. Super important because in real life we have that. It doesn't need to be loud. It just needs to be there. That subconsciously is affecting your movie in a positive way. And you need to understand also. Okay, so the painting. So we have ambiances, we have Foley, we have the dialogue right in the middle, and then you have your sound effects, right? Your hard sound effects are the ones that you're gonna do in post production, the gunshots, the bombs, the whatever is done in post production. So those are hard sound effects, and then the music. And you have two kinds of music. You have music that is inside your movie, and the music that has no explanation at all. That is gonna be just there to support the sentiments, the feelings of the movie. So think about your movie, your sound design like a picture from the back forward.
That was the coolest twist of my analogy, and I never seen that way with the sound. So that's actually pretty cool. I think it's perfect, the analogy. I think is what it is. And not only that, there's another ramification. We guys in the filmmaking, I remember one of the DP. I remember the director of photography,
Yes.
and he's the genius behind the camera. Just in case, he's the ones who in this case he was operating the camera, and we were lighting a setup. And I know the light has to come with a purpose, with an intention. The light has to come from even a lamp or the sun or somewhere, a window, right? It has to be a justification for the light, right?
Yes. Perfect.
And at the time, in that moment, it was like a joke between him and me. I didn't know where the light was coming from. So I asked him, hey, where was the motivation of this light? And he said, well, I asked him, where does it came from? And he answered me, the same place the music is coming from.
It has no
It
explanation.
has no explanation. So that's the next category I want to talk about. And that's the another category, ramification of this huge sound tree. It's the
Mhm.
music, but the music has its own world, right? It has
Yes.
its own. And I
Oh
think
my
you're the
God.
perfect one to, advise us a little bit in this world, because music is huge topic. It's for me, it's its own work of art. And I think it's how it is. Movies is a work of art. The music is its own work of art. That they're connected, they're intertwined. Now, music is also and this is not only for Florida. This is, I guess, for every filmmaker, because it was for me. It was one of the most challenging aspect of movie making, because I love music in my movies, and I didn't know how to embrace it. I didn't know if I had to learn how to make music, if I had the ear to know which music would work. I was so afraid, because I was like, okay, let's say if I use this music, how should I know if this works or not? And I think that's the first question for every filmmaker here. How a student filmmaker know how to use the best use of music in their movies?
Well, first you need to understand that music is the art of emotions. So literally, the work of the music is to bring the right sentiment to the music or to bring the wrong sentiment to the music, if you want to do that on purpose. So one of the easiest thing that you can do with music is to make people sad. So that's when you bring your minor chords and you make people sad. And if you're doing horror films, then the musician will know how to use tensions to make you feel tense. So it's just like the microphones or the equipment. You need to research a little bit about it, so that when you are talking to the expert, you will be able to communicate better and able to ask for what you want. And something that, going back to your questions, how as a film student I will know what is going to work for my
The
movie.
best use of music.
Yes, use references. That's something that we fail in the beginning. We fail to use reference because you want to do you want to be original. You don't want to copy anyone. But let me tell you what, everything is being done already. We are just recreating from the masters. So we need to go back to the masters and use the reference and go. And when you talk to the person that is going to be working with your music, please use reference to help your composer to do your music better, because there are so many ways they can do it.
I understand 100% what you're trying to teach here, but
Mhm.
we really need to be very specific on this.
Okay.
Yeah. So explain a little bit better the difference between an homage, or giving honor to a past artist,
Mhm.
or straight up copying a music, or straight up
Oh,
using a music, or just doing your own unique way but inspired by one. So
yes, we never ever copy the work of another artist. That's just disrespectful to yourself and to the artist. I think that's the best way I can put it. It's just right there. What we do is that we want to sound similar because that music worked for that film, and this is the sentiment that we want. We never copy the work of other artists. It's not gonna work. It's just bring trouble to your life and to your project. Um, so there is a famous video in YouTube that's called "Everything is a Copy," but it's not really a copy. It's that we get inspiration from other artists. For example, um, I bought a book about art, um, painting from the past. So I learned my color palette when I'm doing photography or filming from the masters. So we don't want to reinvent the wheel, because there's so many great artists that we can look, but we don't copy their work. We just feel inspired and to help ourselves.
yeah, I want to make the decision because with music, students fall under that all the time. I see
Hmm.
short films using, I don't know, Christopher Nolan music. I mean, like a Batman. The Batman one is overused in every action movie. Student I see, they always put one of the music of action music and stuff.
Hmm.
Just please avoid straight up. One is straight up using other popular music. The other one is, if you're a musician or a composer, also try to be inspired, but obviously create your own thing.
Hmm.
Not only that, it's going to be very frustrating for you to get strikes on your YouTube channel if you're uploading whatever. And trust me, they're going to find you. These algorithms, they hear everything.
Hmm.
I don't know how it is. It's incredible.
It's probably the music.
Yeah, but
It's
they
probably the easiest way to cut you. To get you is the music. It's easy because they.
Yeah, so I wanted to ask you about another way on the topic of making music and
Hmm.
original music. I myself, when I was working with the orchestra, I
Hmm.
read a book and about building a film orchestra,
Hmm.
and it was very enlightening. I'm so sorry, I forgot the name of the book. Now, I think it was something about film score or something.
Hmm.
I saw that in the modern times, there's a very distinct approach, but in today's world have like collide. And I want to see your perspective of, or at least keep teaching me about it. Is there's the music editor
Hmm.
and there's the film score composer or the
Okay.
composer. In
Hmm.
today's world, they've kind of collide.
Hmm.
Can you be a music editor
Hmm.
and also be a film composer, or can you not? And maybe this has to do with, can you make music without knowing how to write music or read music?
Okay. Thank you for the question. I've been waiting for these questions for a long time. Okay. So I remember what time that we were working in the recording studio doing the music for Hema, one of your
Yeah.
short films, and you were so impressed with the way I was working the music. I'm a guitar player, so my main knowledge is the guitar, and I can teach you all the theory to read music. I am not very good at reading music. I can do that. But in reality, to compose music for film, you don't necessarily need to know anything about scoring. As a matter of fact, many famous and successful musicians doing music composition for film, they don't know anything about composition. They just have very talent and they practice their craft. And some people can do amazing things just with a mouse and a MIDI controller.
Can you mention one of these composers or?
I cannot mention. I will not. I am not going. But don't know names. I know, for example, I'm a little bit afraid of mentioning names.
Okay,
So
okay.
I think that this guy from Battlestar Galactica, I think he mentioned in a behind the scenes that he was not a person reading in music.
Let me explain something just before you continue,
Mhm.
because I didn't even know the distinctions at the beginning. Like, correct me if I'm wrong. The
Mhm.
music editor is the guy who, first of all, obviously makes the best use of music for the film while he's editing, while using maybe synthesizers or
Mhm.
sound libraries. Yeah, I'm saying something bad,
Mm,
right? Go
no,
do a better
no.
explanation than me then.
They will not call themselves that. They will come. They will call themselves producers, music producers.
Music producers.
They will come. They will, yes. So I understand what you're trying to say. When you refer to composers, you are thinking classical style,
Classical
classical
composers,
trained
yeah.
composers, and then you have people that can do music
In a laptop
in a laptop with all the modern tools
with,
that we have,
with
like
MIDIs.
Logic and BST, which are virtual instruments library, and that is my specialty. That is what I do. I can I could also write music in a music uh, for them to write, but that is not my area of expertise. That's the area of expertise of something that is classically trained or maybe jazz trained. They can do that. But I prefer the way I prefer to do it is by using BST, which are virtual instruments and there are thousands of options for that. There are packages for that, and you invest on that. You use a MIDI controller. You use MIDI, and one of the best softwares that I use is Logic for that. You can use the one of your preference, but for me, Logic is one of the best to create and do music composition MIDI style. That MIDI composition, uh, MIDI stands for music interface. There's a long music digital interface, all that. You can translate and convert those MIDI files into music that is readable. That's what I did when we were doing the. You asked me for the music. Can
Yeah.
you give me the music so they can practice it? And I immediately, let me see how I can do it. Boom, and I transform it. So in a way, I'm composing even though I don't have the classical training. Um,
Yeah, and I get it 100%. I
mhm,
think that's where we have to be very um re- I think they're like us, like storytellers.
mhm,
You are other than being a visual storyteller, you are also a music storyteller.
correct.
You're just using a tool that has more it acknowledge every instrument in a main tool.
Yes.
It's like me. Let's yeah. It
But
if
but let me tell you something. The classical composers, the modern classical composer, they will use very similar tools to
That
us.
was what I was asking.
So
I thought you were going to mention somebody like Hans Zimmer or something.
I am not sure about the background of Hans Zimmer. I know when he started, he wasn't very highly trained and he was learning. So I don't know how much he was trained classically. We do definitely need to have musical knowledge, but you need to understand that music can be learned you can read the music like the classical style, but you can learn music by numbers. So music is numbers. That's why you hear seven chords and suspended four. You see the
Yeah,
numbers.
and the
So
beat
music,
like 1 2 3 4
yeah.
1 2.
So all the do re mi fa sol la si do.
Yeah,
In English is C. there are numbers. Actually, when you go to play live, the in pop music, they don't scream chords, they scream numbers. And if you don't know what that number means, you're gonna be lost. So and the first time that happened to me, I was lost, honestly. But then I learned the
And
system.
I'm asking all of this
Mhm.
because when I was starting out and I was having this problem making music, I did saw the softwares that like GarageBand or something like, I don't know. I
Correct.
never used it, but I heard it, right?
GarageBand is
And
like the baby for Logic.
yeah, and I said to myself, do I take the time to actually learn how to do a track? Maybe I can, but then some questions pop up. And I think I had the answer, but I want to see what your
Mhm.
perspective is. Is that I said, okay, do I need how to like read those numbers or read that music or something? Or do my own inner self, common sense of what a good music is or not, will do the job for me, putting sounds together and make a coherent melody, I guess. I don't know if that's actually achievable or you have to do some kind of training or something to get there.
All these tools are like ingredients in a kitchen. You can have all the ingredients, but you're not gonna put them together and have a great meal. So it's like everything else. You need knowledge and you need to practice, and you practice your craft and you get better. Do you do you as a filmmaker need to learn all the crafts? No, that's impossible. You are never gonna be an expert in all the craft. I will never be an expert in makeup or doing dresses or so I think the best approach is to use people that are experts because filmmaking is not done alone. This is a team effort. So developing your leadership is probably more important and understanding how to work with other persons touching your baby movie that you are so, protective of. You're going to need to release and trust people to work with you to bring your
Yeah,
project.
and I say it because even with AI, and we will get dive into it, but not yet. But let's say I end up using a music. I still think I don't have the expert ear yet to call it out, to say, no, this is the best use of music for my movie. I'm pretty sure another expert using the same AI or using the same tools as mine will have a better judgment of what music goes for my video. And I say music specifically because it's own work of art. It's not something it's not a light that you just turn on or a prop element or a nice acting. It's actually its own unique work of art and it really stands out. And
Mhm,
you see it all the time. You hear a music and you literally see the movie.
mhm.
If you hear Star Wars music, you see the movie and it still has that effect. You understand what I'm trying to go with?
Yes, definitely. It's a storytelling tool.
Yeah, it's a storytelling tool. And now I really think all of these music editors that you're defining as music producers. And I brought the term about music editors, I brought it out because of the book I read, because it
Mhm,
was making that distinction that once upon a time, the classic composer will work with that music editor to
mhm,
polish whatever he wrote. But sooner or later the music editor became quote unquote the composer,
mhm.
because technology
Yes,
make it happen that
and
way.
I can agree with that statement.
Okay.
I I can agree with that statement, but do not call a music producer a music editor.
Oh,
He
I
will not
see.
see that term correct because it feels like you're minimizing
Yeah, I'm
that job.
minimizing that. Got
It's
it.
like
Got it.
okay, so and I'm not minimizing the editor. Okay, let me clarify this, but it has an element of editing, but
It's more
it's
than
more
that.
creative.
It's
It's a
just that
creative
maybe at the
process.
beginning was mainly the element of editing, but since it's
Mhm,
got even greater and greater tools, it
mhm.
became composing.
You need to be a musician in order to create music.
You need to be a musician.
Period.
Period.
I don't care if you are classically trained or jazz or pop or self-trained. You need to be a musician to do great music, and you need to have music knowledge. You need to have editing knowledge, mixing, and probably mastering knowledge because you want the whole package when you're asking for music. You want everything. You don't want just the music. You need it mix, you need it edited, you need everything. So it's several skills that you need in order to produce music.
Got it. I'm gonna leave it at that statement. He's the professional, and trust me, that's gonna be a whole nother podcast because that's a bigger dive topic. We can cover all of those topics.
Yes.
So now, taking off from what discussing the AI effect, we're in a new frontier, and we need to solve this problem. We need to fix it, and that's why I was making the distinctions, trying to connect these dots because this is the new tool. It became the MIDI, then it became the synthesizers or the libraries or whatever. Now it's AI.
Mm.
It's there, it's not going away. It's changed the game forever. And here we are. Now we need to discuss this. Now, the first, I want to see your impression on what was your emotion process when you saw VO3, I believe it's called. We all saw it. How did you felt when you saw it for the first time?
Well, if you're talking about music production
That's true.
specifically,
That's true. Let's no the whole thing, sound and music.
well, I think I don't know what came first, if the chicken or the egg. What I can remember is my impression when I saw.
I guess dialogue because when I saw
Uh-huh.
the first video,
Uh-huh.
we're talking about, you know what I'm talking about, right?
I
The
talking about
VO3,
you're talking about ChatGPT.
yeah. When
Okay.
when they launched the VO3,
Okay.
um, when they launched the video that with sound for the first time with dialogue, mimicking the lips,
Mm-hmm.
I almost I couldn't believe it at the moment because I thought it was gonna take more time to get there.
Okay. I see.
But when I saw, I was like, oh, these AI people are already speaking,
Yes.
and it was believable enough.
Yes. I think in the beginning,
Yeah.
you just, I think I got in contact with AI like everybody else, like in the internet, watching these videos, weird videos of Will Smith eating spaghetti. I think that's the classic meme for that. And now we can see AI doing all kinds of stuff. So my impression was like, okay. But then suddenly it jumped to something very impressive and kind of scary for us. They are creative producers. And I was like, oh my God. Now we have two options here. That was my thought. Or we fight this and we're not going to win this fight. It's not going anywhere.
That was your first
Yes,
thought.
that was my first thought. I have two options. Or I fight this and say, this is whatever. I want to work with this. I want to keep classy. Or I learn everything that I can and use it because, and then little by little, I realized, okay, this is a tool, and I calmed down a little bit. But the first time I saw AI working really well, I was mind blown.
I think this is where this conversation is going to get very, very interesting, very fast. And we can even agree to disagree because it's a huge topic right now,
Yes.
right? And I think where's your point of view looking at this? Because we're both filmmakers, content creators, but definitely, obviously, you got a bigger sense of audio and sound in your mind,
Mhm.
maybe when you're looking at this at the
Mhm.
beginning. I was looking at in the first impression, right? We don't know the future, guys. None of us. We're just here, two dudes talking, thinking what's gonna be like the sci-fi future, whatever. Now, when I first saw it, I saw it from the point of view as a more or maybe as a screenwriter,
Oh,
as a
okay.
storyteller,
I
because I
see.
guess that's my point of view.
Correct.
So when I first saw it, my first expression, yes, there's a scary part, but I guess that was like a 20%. The other, I was actually very excited. I was like, oh, I'm gonna be able to make my own stuff, like not, by myself, because also I am a producer. I've worked with hundreds of people in one project, and trust me, I want to make something very clear. The purpose of me being a filmmaker in the first place, it was even bigger than just storytelling. Actually, it was because I'm very extremely passionate of working with other people in teamwork.
Mhm.
So I want to make this clear that I'm passionate about that. And I will keep doing it until the day I die. I love working with other creators. Now, I have many scripts in my closet, many. And some of them are going to be produced by creative teams,
Mhm.
10, 50, 100 creators. I don't know. The budget will, tell that,
Determine that.
determine that. But there's other scripts that I was thinking in the spot to myself was like, well, I can now do this by myself or never do it at all.
Hmm.
See? So
Yes.
some of those are never going to be told, some of my stories, just because I don't have the means.
Mhm.
And now the doors have opened. Now, this was me just getting excited just for a few minutes later to remember to myself that this is not free. No, it's still not free. It's still gonna be costly, big time.
Yes.
So it's still it hasn't fixed the problem 100%
No.
from my point of view. I wanna now see what you think about my impression.
I think you're right in the spot. I think that AI is a great tool, but it's not the absolute solution. And I think that was like when I told you, "Hey, let's do this podcast and talk about." That was the phrase I told you. AI is a great tool, not the solution for everything.
No, it's definitely not. And for example, like I was talking to, let's say I'm doing an AI movie, right?
Hmm.
That you share me that app.
Hmm.
You share me an app.
Which one is specific?
I,
Because we talk
I forgot, and it's so
for
powerful.
music production.
No, it was for movie making. Literally, it was
The
a
one
a storyboard one.
storyboard, yeah.
Yeah, you sent me one, and I passed like a month. I didn't check it out, but
Uh-huh.
then I check it out, and I was like, "Wait a moment, Rolando just sent me the future, literally." And I give it a shot. Right? I started out. I put a script. I did the storyboard. Then it did the animatics, and then it did the polishing and the shots. It did it shots like my point of view. I was directing the AI.
Correct.
It blew my mind. I was like, yep, this is not there yet. It was using VO2 or something like that. This is not there yet, but in a dystopian future will be. It will be there.
Yes.
And I said, yeah. Now, it was actually pretty difficult to use because I was learning it. It was like a very hardcore video game.
Hmm.
So it's not going to be like, I just put your prompt and that's it. You still got to do the shots. You got to do the composition. You got to do everything. And you got to do a few tries to get it correct.
Yes.
Now, when I was using it, I was like, yes, this is going to be the future. Now, it's going to be very costly. And you still need, this is where it gets interesting. You still need the knowledge of storytelling,
Correct.
of audiovisual storytelling. Not only that, I said to myself, okay, definitely a few departments will not need help. Like, I don't know, like maybe, I'm sorry guys, but I don't know, maybe Foley design. That was gonna be like AI, um, very easy to make up. I don't know, the AI for makeup. Now, for example, music, where as we were talking about, I don't think I have the knowledge to call it, like I don't know if now there's another app AI that you also shared with me
Hmm.
that was called Suno, right?
Suno, yeah. That one I use constantly.
I gave it a shot. Oh my God. But you were the first to show it to me.
And the first one.
Now, it did fix a problem for me, that one.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Because like I do casual, just blogs and casual videos. It fixed the copyright problem big time.
Yes.
Eh,
Yes.
And
Yes.
and it does the job.
Yes.
So I was like, I just can do for easy consuming videos.
Mm-hmm.
I can just use this and that's it and move. Let's go home.
Yes.
What are your
Definitely.
thoughts on all of this? I don't know. I want to see your perspective. I'm tired of speaking. Let's go. Go.
No, and with the new update, it's just so
Oh, there's an
impressive.
update.
Oh, and there is another coming. It's called B5. It's coming. It's so impressive if you pay.
Yeah.
That's one of the things. So, if specifically with Suno, if you do the free version of it, the quality is not going to be very good. They're gonna
Got it.
give you, you know, just to get you in love and an introduction to it. But if you want to use that music for production and for clients, then you need to pay at least, the minimum you need to pay, and then that copyright is assigned to you because they keep the copyright ownership. And I'm gonna go like this because I'm gonna explain something about that in a minute. If you pay, then they assign that copyright to you, but that's a gray area because copyright only works when the work is being done by a human. So what if you are gonna use AI music? If you have the ability to introduce real instruments that have been done by humans, let's say that you have any creation and you add some guitars on top of that and you add voices or anything, now your project is going to be a little bit more protected because there are some human interaction into that project and you have more rights to that. But it's going to be more, you're going to make it more difficult to anybody else to take your music from your commercial and use it for something else because it's not protected by copyright. So anyone could use it.
Got it. Got it. I didn't know that part. Now, I think the big studios are solving kind of this problem for us.
Mhm.
I saw a news. I don't know the top of my mind, but you can Google it. I saw news that some of the big studios were actually suing ChatGPT, or I don't know who in the AI world, for copyright infringements.
What happened is that what they are saying, they are claiming that they use copyright music to train the machine.
I think that's definitely what's happening.
There is no other way to train
There's
it.
no other way.
There is no other way because you're not gonna. You have to train it with music that is being done, and the problem is that AI is so good at reproducing very similar sounds that that's why they are suing. But how are they gonna prove
No,
it?
and in this case, it's not even music. In this case, I will assume they're going for everything, characters.
It applies for everything.
It applies for everything.
For everything. I'm talking images, voice, everything.
Yeah, this, as you can see, this can go really deep in the rabbit hole.
Yes.
So let's just stick with the music and the sound. I saw another one. I had a subscription in Artlist.io. You know, with this subscription basis, it's a subscription platform that many musicians and composers produce music and they get a royalties or something.
Yes.
And then they do very good music. But now they did a feature, an update. They have AI. For example, if I send a voiceover, you can change that voiceover to anything, basically.
To any voice.
It got me. Oh my God, this is a game changer.
Yes, it is. It's just amazing.
I can do the voiceover and just make it sound like I don't that failure, like it's crazy.
Yes, you can. You're cool.
That's impressive.
I don't know how, people from Star Wars are gonna feel about that.
Exactly. Oh, definitely that should qualify for copyright, right?
Right. I think you can use it like as a YouTuber or something that is not like a film. Well, when we are doing films, I think that you mentioned that filmmaking is one of the most suable. I don't know if that's a word in English. You can get sued very easy in filmmaking, so you need to be very careful with what you do. And my recommendation would be try to create everything.
But this is already happening, Rolando, because I was talking to the Central Florida Film Festival director, Brendan, and he told me that he's been receiving a lot of short films being made by AI. And we were talking like, well, what's it gonna be? And he was telling me, well, maybe we do a AI category. I don't know.
They will need to,
Yeah,
or AI category if the whole thing is done by AI. I mean, if you're using some elements of AI, shouldn't be like part of that. I don't know. That's my opinion.
I just think I don't know. I'm not him. I don't know how
This
they're
is
gonna.
new territory.
This is
actually,
for everybody. I'm pretty much assuming it's happening to every film festival right now, and I knew what's gonna happen. It was gonna happen in the spot now. And to be fair, as a filmmaker, let's say I really dive into the app you showed me, right? And I have the money because it's expensive, as I told you.
Yes.
And it didn't give me many shots. It was very expensive.
Yes.
I said to myself, let's say I had the money and I end up doing a really coherent storytelling movie, a short film. Yeah, it came from a creator. It came from somebody who had the knowledge, because that's the thing. People are thinking this is what is not scary for me.
Mm-hmm.
People are thinking that common people are gonna be able to make a, no, they're not. They don't even do really good videos with their phones, and everybody has phones. They don't even know how to write a good poem, and everybody has a pencil and a piece of paper.
Mm-hmm.
You're only gonna be able to do a good video with this if you have the knowledge. That's it.
Yes.
Okay. And I know it because AI can do pretty bad videos.
Yes.
Like it does. Honestly, for me, it's not even quick enough. It's actually pretty lazy when it does video. It's pretty bad. I don't know. I don't know what I'm missing out. Maybe I'm not paying the really big subscriptions. I don't know. But you have to do a little. What is gonna happen is what is already being born
Mm-hmm.
is the what let's call it video AR AI specialist. That's
Okay.
gonna be
So let me try to simplify this.
yeah.
Let's say you're a person that you're not an expert in photography. You don't know anything about photography, right? You don't know what is a f-stops. You don't know any of that. You go to you want a picture of a flower, right? I don't know, or a horse. Like, it doesn't matter. You tell AI, create a picture of a flower. You're gonna have the most random flower ever.
Yeah. Yeah, you don't
It
know
could
if it's a
be,
Japanese style.
but let's say that you are even more creative,
Yeah,
a little bit more, and you go, give me a yellow flower in the desert, and in the background there is winter, and you're gonna get a very weird picture, but you're gonna get it. Now, if you have photography knowledge, you're gonna go, I want a picture,
exactly.
AK, high definition, at 2.8 f stuff with the camera, and you're gonna be very specific of that.
Yeah.
And then you're gonna tell it's like an assistant. You need to tell it
Yeah.
exactly what you need. Be very specific. Your prompt can be a large paragraph.
Not only that, let's say
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna create a more weirder situation.
Uh-huh.
Let's say I'm an expert and I tell the AI to make the most beautiful and with all the knowledge, and it gives me one. Then I show it to a random person and I'm not saying anything. How does that random person know if that's a nice picture or not? He doesn't know the knowledge, you see? The knowledge comes from the one who asking the instructions.
The interpretation.
The interpretation.
The interpretation of
It
that.
is the interpretation. If you go to Duchamp with the toilet in how do you know that's a work of art?
That's very weird because now a banana on the wall can be
Exactly. And that's where the common knowledge goes over time and changes and evolves. It's gonna be evolving. Don't take me wrong. Now with
Mhm.
the AI, it's gonna be evolving. I don't know with what direction. Maybe it will go back to art house related stuff being by humans. I don't know, but it will change. Obviously, the standard will move because this is a game changer. Now, some craft will be easier to challenge that than others. Photography is gonna be easier, but it's just a still. Maybe and I can be wrong, right? I'm not God or whatever. But maybe other stuff like I don't know, a nice piece of poem or something, whatever. Now, in this case, film that is the seventh art, right? It has a lot of elements. It's a complex art.
Right.
Like for example, architecture. They're complex art. This is not a simple work of art. This is a complex one because it has other functionalities.
Yes.
And in this case, it's not gonna be so easy to tell. Actually, we professionals will tell very easily if it's AI or not, very
Yes.
easily, and if it's bad or not. It can be AI, but it can be good AI, or it
Mhm.
can be very bad AI. What I think is going to happen is there's going to be a lot of bad AI, like in the millions, and a
Yes.
few very good AI movies.
Yes, and it is getting to the point that it's going to be very hard to tell what is actually film and AI creation. The other day I was the other day I found, like, that we always mock the grandpa because
Yeah,
he's
yeah.
sharing those videos AI, and it's like, oh no, another grandpa or grandma video that
Yeah.
is not real, right? The other day I saw a video. There were some dogs jumping to a pool. I was like, wow, that's so cool. How they trained them, and then I was like, oh wait a second. Let me check the small AI. I was like, oh no, I fall for that one.
Yes. I want to tell someone, for anybody that wants to be scared about this, I'm going to give you an excuse to be very scared. It has gone to the point that we, the expert, are falling to it constantly. Every time I see a video, it takes me time to figure out if it's AI or not. I'm
Yes.
sorry to break to these normal people, but
Mhm.
we, the ones who studied this professionally, are not calling it every time because there's a few neons here. There's the videos that done 100% AI. There's some other ones that are actually being magnified by AI.
Correct.
Those are very difficult to call.
Yes.
Very difficult. It can, and it gets worse. The more amateur the video was captured, the more difficult will be to, the more home movie ish, the
Yes.
more difficult it is to call it. You have to
Yes.
look for the weirdest details, and sometimes they're not even there. And honestly, here's the craziest thing: film has always, since the beginning, been a visual effect.
Mhm.
So we cannot here say that some of it is more pure than others. It was always like that. You see Trip to the Moon, you
Mm.
know, you're gonna see movies from the ancient days that had always have visual effects. We
Yes.
just gotten very good at it now that but at the end of the day, it's entertainment. Hopefully people understand that this is supposed to use for good. That's the other part.
Mhm.
We need to tell good stories with it.
Hopefully.
Hopefully. I don't know exactly where this is gonna go. I have been a little bit. I know this is not the popular opinion right now, and trust me, I'm a very pessimistic guy. But weirdly enough, as a creator that have done my career in this, I have been a little bit optimistic about the tool, and
Mhm.
it's because my only excuse to it is those stories that I never even thought I was gonna be able to do. Now I've been like, huh, maybe one day I will,
Mm.
and that can change the game. I don't know if you want to mention something other than that, but
Yes. So there are. It's up to you. It depends what kind of creation you want to, what kind of creator, what kind of filmmakers you want to be. For in one side we have Guillermo del Toro that is saying no, I'm gonna do Frankenstein and everything is gonna be analog and everything is gonna be makeup. I'm gonna. And then you have James Cameron that is doing AI, everything that he can advance for capturing the actors and helping to do these 3D immersive images, and both are successful and both work.
and
And
I'm pretty sure they've been using AI for a long time now.
yes,
We normies are the ones who are finding out about this now, but I'm pretty sure they've been
it's
using.
everywhere.
It's
It's
everywhere.
everywhere.
And I already heard some news that they are already making feature films, blockbuster movies with AI. I'm pretty sure they're trying it out.
Yeah.
Let's see where we land with this. I do see how I will use it. Let's say I have all the means, right? I actually wouldn't do it by myself. For example, this is what I will do. Yes, I will do the maybe the storyboard or whatever, the animatics, but then I will reach out to you, for example. I will say, okay, you do the AI music. I'm saying something, right? And let's work together on this AI Frankenstein. I don't know. That's how I would approach it.
It will be a nice
It
experiment.
will be a nice experiment. Maybe
Hmm.
next one will bring the next Frankenstein. Well, I get that said. We can just keep going, but we still have very little knowledge on where this is going. But we are the ones who are gonna most feel the effect,
Yes,
definitely. But Rolando, I'm so glad you came here. I'm so glad you brought your knowledge. This is just the first one.
my
We're
pleasure.
definitely gonna be talking about more.
Hmm.
When just before,
Hmm.
you are working in a feature film.
I am.
Let's not forget about that. Go.
So I'm I have the privilege to do the soundtrack, music, sound effects, everything for the feature film from Puerto Rico, It's called escape inútil in Spanish. Translated, it will translate as impossible to escape.
Impossible escape,
It's
something like
impossible to escape. And I did not use AI on this one.
that. Disclaimer.
But I did use libraries for this one. So it was interesting. I did use AI for Foley.
Oh, there you go. See,
I did.
see, that's what I mentioned.
So
I think it's impossible not to use it
it's
in
impossible.
Foley.
So there is and I'm gonna give the secret away.
But to be fair, you are a Foley artist.
I am. So I work with the Foley artists.
Yeah.
So I'm part of the process too. So some sounds you can work with, just like any sound effect library. You can do it. You can grab that sound and use it, match it to the image. But some you need to record. There's no way. There are some that you can't. They are not in the library. But now there is a tool, free commercial here. It's called Krotos, and this tool is amazing. I want you to check it out in online, and you can do Foley sounds, hard sound effects right there. It accelerated the process
Wow.
immensely. So when you do sound effects, please keep in mind that you do layers. It's not just one sound. It's you if you want a big sound effect, you want layers, one sound on top of the other, and then you mix it. So yes, we did use some AI in the process. So it's coming probably in October. Imagine Film Studio. The director is Ebles Baez. So thank you for the opportunity, Ebles. And we are working on the final for the mixing 5.1 for the first time. So we are very excited about that. MacDiel Concepcion is going to be doing that mix. I did the stereo mix. So it's very exciting. So we're going to hear about that more later.
So, Rolando, thank you so much for being here. And please, where can my students or anybody that's listening can follow you?
Yeah, so my music, instrumental music, you can find it in any streaming platform as Arbone. Rollo Arbone is my instrumental music. I have other artist names, but that one is the one that I would love you to check it out. And my recording studio is Arbone Recording, so you can find me on Facebook or in Instagram as Rollo Arbone. You're gonna see a few videos. Well, I'm an old guy, so I'm still on Facebook. But yeah, so you can contact me, ask questions. And Facebook, you can find me as Rollo Sierra.
And he's here in Florida, his studio. So if you need any type of recording, any type of music, you just go to him and give
Just
it a
say
shot.
hi. Just
Yeah,
say hi.
so say hi. You can follow the Filmmakers Room podcast in any social media. You can also follow me as Andrew Hernández Director in any social media. Go ahead and give us a share, give us a like, especially in the podcast YouTube channel. Give a comment and follow us to keep this content going and have more special guests. But for now, thank you so much. It has a brain. I've learned so much from you today, Rolando. I always do. Thank you for being there from the beginning. You are the one who did my first voiceover ever. Okay, ever. So thank you so much for being that guy who actually introduced me to sound. And you gave me my first sound interface. This is crazy. You're the one who introduced me to
I don't
the
even
whole.
remember.
Yeah, it was a very old black and white interface, but it did the job.
It did the job.
It did the job. So thank you so much for introducing me. So hey guys, see you in the next wax, I guess. So thank you so much.
Thank you. My pleasure.
Here we go.